Good evening, Ghana. It's good to see you yet again, and thanks for making Joy Sports your channel of choice. There's a sports night live here on Joy Sports and Multi TV. My name is Kwame Jumo Ajiman. This evening, we are focusing on the sport of athletics because one particular gentleman has been making the waves in recent times. He wants to unearth the next Usain Bolt. Are we going to be having Usain Bolt here in Ghana? Well, he's very confident that we are going to be unearthing that particular talent. They've been through a couple of regions. I understand Kumasi, they were there last week. The Elwak Sports Stadium was filled with a lot of athletics fans yesterday, Monday. It was great to see the numbers that showed up, and of course the numbers that showed up in Kumasi. Quite a number of people, I understand, are also registering all over the nation because they want to be the next Usain Bolt for Ghana. This evening, Rex Brobe is going to be in the studio together with a former National Athletics Chief Coach. Coach Nukwiza is also joining him as they throw more light on this particular event and how confident they are that the next Usain Bolt is going to be coming from Ghana. You stay tuned with us. We'll be back after this break. Well, you're still live here on Joy Sports and Multi TV. Rex Brobe is here in the studio with me, former national athlete, together with our coach Nukwiza, who was also a former national chief coach of the Ghana Athletics Authority. Guys, good to see you. Well, in no particular order, I think it's only fair that we start out with the originator of this project. It was refreshing for me that after so many years when the nation struggled to raise the next generation of athletes, because growing up myself in the early 90s, I recall coming up across quite a number of athletes who made us proud. Emmanuel Tofo, I recall watching him at the All African Games in 1995, where he only came second to Nigerian Davidson Ezinwa and Osborne Ezinwa. Emmanuel Tofo getting a silver medal in 100 and in the 200 meters as well, where he came second to Sunday Bada, and then in the 4x100 meters he made all of us proud by winning gold. Nelson Boateng, Solomon Amegache and co have also blazed the trail for Ghana, but of course since 2003, where we won the gold medal in the 4x100 in Abuja at the All African Games, athletics has been on a downtrend, if you ask me. But this particular gentleman is confident that together with his team, we are going to be seeing the next generation of super athletes competing for Ghana. Rex, I have been following all that you've been doing from day one, from the launch through your travels in Kumasi and Accra. And every time I've had the opportunity to speak to people about this project, they tell me that athletics is not like it used to be when you were probably competing in secondary school in those days, and now a lot has changed. And getting that Usain Bolt character is going to be a big ask for you and your team. What would you say to that?
I would say, how do you see a glass, half full or half empty? I always see the glass half full. So I understand people that see it half empty will say that. I see it half full, and I don't agree with that. So different times produce different people. We've had eras where we didn't have a tartan track. They run on cinder. Cinder is dirt. And it was out of the cinder that the Micah Hayes came out of. And these guys went on to win Commonwealth gold, silver medals and stuff like that, running on dirt, So each era has peculiarities that come out, that produces the athlete. So no, I don't agree with that. I think with everything, as with everything, if there's focus, if there's money, especially money behind it, you unearth new talents, we've lost a lot of our athletes to football, because I'm sure there's some track guys who couldn't see any headway, for athletics, so they figured, oh, let me go try football, and maybe they were better at football than athletics, we don't know, but these are all different things that have pushed our athletes away from our area, so with the focus, with the money we are raising, with the new and improved ways that is done out there. I mean, right now, look how much our phones can do. Before, a computer was a whole house. Now a phone does so much. yet our training methods in Ghana
still remain very much the same.
Pretty much, even though they're up with the times and all that, the infrastructure doesn't help. Because what I found out that made me go from being a local athlete to an international athlete, 3 main things: access to nutrition, access to sports psychology, access to new and improved coaching and training methods. Nutrition. What I ate in the morning, what I ate in the month, somebody made sure there was enough protein and carbohydrate. I had a nutritionist, sports psychology. It didn't matter how many hours I run. If I didn't believe that I was
good enough
going to do it, I was wasting my time. Access to new and improved coaching and training methods. There's so many new ways that are coming up now that, again, back to the analogy of the phone doing so much, that we can't take advantage of. 1, our infrastructure won't allow us. 2, the money that goes behind that infrastructure also won't allow us. So we are up against some obstacles here and there. But again, because there's no focus, with focus, you're able to find ways around the obstacle, under the obstacle, over the obstacle, through the obstacle. With focus, you find the money that you need to drive these programs, to raise the 3 different areas. With focus, you bring back athletics into the limelight where we were and where we want to get to.
Well, Rex, it's obvious you have a plan that you're following, but for my generation or this generation, in your days, things were done differently. Things are done a lot differently now. There was something that was motivating you guys, even in all these difficult challenges, to still stick with the sport, stay with the sport, and it opened some doors for you.
Correct.
If I could put it
that way. A lot of doors.
Well, a lot of doors. I mean, if I can readily recall, Professor Francis Dodu got a scholarship to school abroad. Solomon Amegache, Kenneth Andam, and Kujo Asasi, a few of them, Moses Gagakuma, and all these guys that I can... Exactly.
All of us.
There was something that was motivating you guys at that time. You compare that to my generation and this current generation. That motivation, maybe, just maybe, seems to be missing. That's why you don't have so many people taking to the sport of athletics rather than doing something else.
I won't say it's the motivation, because, look, Coach will tell you, in our being around these athletes from Ashanti region and BA in Kumasi last week, in our being around these athletes from Greater Accra, Volta region and Eastern region at Elbak Stadium yesterday, we found out that, no, the enthusiasm is there. It's not died down. It's not, it's there. It's just waiting to be nurtured. It's waiting for someone come and say, here, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. The definition of insanity, they say, is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting change. My brother, we've been sitting there waiting for government from day one. Government. Let me give you an example. If government allocates 10 cedis to sports, 9 cedis goes to football. I'm exaggerating a little bit here.
Well, that's the case anyway.
9 cedis goes to football. The 1 cedi that is left is sent to the Sports Council, and then the Sports Council decides, okay, let me give a little bit to this, a little bit to that, a little bit to this. I'll come back to that in a second. The 9 cedis that is given to the footballers, they go to the private sector and raise another 9 cedis. And the 1 cedi that we have left split against amongst us, we still sit there and keep those and cry foul. Why aren't we going to the private sector also? We're not going to the private sector because it's not easy to go to the private sector. To go to the private sector, we're finding out that...
It's not that easy to go out there and raise money,
no,
is it?
It's you see, again, back to me and my analogies and stuff like that. I'll tell you, I've been blessed to have teachers all my life. I realized that companies don't do business with companies. Companies do not do business with companies. It is Rex Broby at Ghana's fastest human company doing business with Nathaniel Attor at My Joy Sports Company. So if Rex Broby can find a way to bond with Nathaniel Attor, Ghana's Fastest Human and Joy Sports are in bed together. Simple as that. It's a relationship building. And if you don't have that relationship building structure inside you, you can write 1 million letters to corporate Ghana, it won't go anywhere. You have to strike a bond. You have to first of all, connect with the person. And that's what gets missing,
Well, but if the product is a sellable one, you may not necessarily
football
have to go
takes
through
the
that.
majority of everything. So we are left with not just the money from government. I'm talking about the spectating. I'm talking about the money from corporate Ghana. I'm talking about even the girls. Football takes the bulk of everything. So what's left if you don't get creative? If you don't get creative with hockey, with swimming, with athletics, with handball, if you don't get creative, and I'm not saying our associations are not getting creative. I'm sure they're getting creative. But maybe there should be more contact, more of that bond that I'm talking about, because it's that contact that eliminates the middleman. So if Rex Broby at Ghana's Fastest Human knows Nathaniel Attor, who's a decision maker at Joy Sports, it's easy for Rex to talk to Nat to come up with a deal easier than having to go through the secretary or the admin to the marketing to the...
Well, I'm sure it's, corporate structures and how they work. But Coach, let me get you into the conversation. You have been with, the family of athletics for many, many years, and you would have trained generation after generation after generation. Again, I'll pose that same question to you. How different was it training a generation of, athletes maybe 20, 30 years ago to the current situation in which we find ourselves? What is it that got those generations of yesteryears going and making it all the way to the top compared to the generations that we find today?
Thank you very much. Like those days, in track and field athletics, we've got something we call periodization. Periodization is saying that the program you are going to have the following year. So based upon that, you plan your training schedule towards that. Now, for example, those days we used to have PD Quote Athletics Championship, PAJO, the Mobile Championship,
exactly,
the National Championship. So the competition comes in a row. But these days, we don't have the competition.
Well, I don't recall the last time we had the Mobile.
Exactly.
At least.
So you don't have the competition. Well, for example, next year is the Commonwealth Games. So we have to start the preparation now, because this is the period for conditioning. So that when we are in January, February, you are in a pre-season. Like in Europe, this is the January, February, they have the indoor. That's why the pre-competition period. But we don't have. So luckily we have the whole season summer.
Oh, it's not we have indoor facilities anyway.
So we are being blessed. But now the competitions are not there for the athletes, to get that periodization to follow the program ahead. So all this we have, like I mentioned earlier, the competitions are there, so you know that, if the competition is coming in March, then let me prepare, the previous year, maybe January, February, or December. So before the March, the next year comes, then you are in shape. But this is the time, the moment you sit down and then, March, 2 weeks to the time you are going to have competition, the athlete is not yet prepared for the championship. If you watch very carefully, the fastest woman we had recently, the one who dominates, the first position, because from the inter-house, inter-school, super zonas, and the national, they have that consistency. That's a clear path. So you see that he's progressing. He ran the 10.6 during the schools colleges, and now he's running 10.21. So you can see that the consistency was there because of the series of competitions.
He's constantly competing.
That is it. So that's why some of us we are very happy with introduction of this Ghana's Fastest.
It amazes me that in those days when I was a kid, I would go to the Kanishi Sports Complex. I'll go to the Accra Sports Stadium. There used to be a track. I mean, for this generation who might not know, there used to be a very big track around the Accra Sports
and
Stadium.
I'm playing for it every now and then.
Yes, when we go there, we watch these athletes, and it was big. I mean, I recall even before I went to secondary school, when you heard that there was going to be Greater Accra Regional Interzonals or Superzonals, when you go to the stadium, you don't only see students, you would see people from all walks of life coming to watch these events. What happened along the line? What changed?
Now, if you, like you put it right, those days at Accra Sports Stadium is the center of the town. You see, and the proximity counts. You know, from Accra Sports Stadium to Tama Station, and you can get truck to everywhere. But look at where the stadium is located now. Elwak Stadium, which is a military zone. Anytime, even we are training, you see, you know, plane trying to disturb your training schedule. So, in fact, the track being removed from Accra Sports Stadium is not to our...
Or maybe Rex and his people did not fight hard
enough. Yes, I'm blamed a lot for it.
I was surprised. That track had been at Accra Sports Stadium for the past over 25 years before, you know, it was removed. So, though the track was removed, yet the athletes keep on training, but the competition is not there. You see. So I would have wished if the track would have been, you know, left at the Accra Sports Stadium, at least we would have gotten...
Rex, I'm not a professional, but they tell me that even the tracks that we find at the Elwak Sports Stadium is not of a certain order. It's not of a certain standard. I don't know what that means, but I have been told by some athletes that it's nowhere comparable to what they will take to anytime they've had the opportunity to travel outside.
Yes,
I would see it as a very normal track. You can go there and run.
No, there are different levels of track. Like football, you know, there are different levels of turf. You know, what is used. I mean, I heard Kevin couldn't play here because the turf here is too tough on his knees. You know, there are different turfs, different tracks. Now, the track we have here, yes, the quality is not the best. I'm not sure how much money we had at the time or what was allocated and stuff like that, so I can't delve in there. But it's not the best track that we have, and hence, you know, if you go, especially at the Elwak one, you see a lot of black. It means the grains have come apart. The rubber grains that are supposed to bind together to form that rubberized track have come loose, so there's no grip, you know, the 100-meter starting point, you know, where you're supposed to put your starting blocks. You know, that area, the grains have come so loose that even when you put the starting blocks there, there's no grip. You know, because the grains are very loose. You know, it needs to be resurfaced. It's like doing the tar roads, and if you don't put too much coal tar on it, what happens when the rains come and the potholes, you know, reappear? You know, same thing with the track. You know, so we don't have the best. We could use a much better one, yes, based on the weather and things, but we're working towards that.
Well, they are working towards it, and we would want to see the next generation of athletes springing up all over the nation and making us proud. We're going to be doing a round of commercials, but before we do that, Coach, let me come to you again. Consistently, we were able to churn out athletes of a certain order. They may not have won, let's say, a gold or a silver or a bronze at a World or Olympic Games. But even, at least on the continent, we're competing, and we're competing very, very strongly. Yeah. And, you know, I recall Egypt 1991 very, very well at the All-African Games. I recall Zimbabwe 1995 very, very well. I recall in 1991 when I first saw Namibia's Frankie Fredericks before Barcelona 1992. Very small, very skinny. He had just gotten a scholarship to Brigham Young University, I think. And all of a sudden, he was something else. He was very good on the continent. I mean, Namibia is a very huge country, but a very small population. And consistently, he managed to get to the very top and compete at a certain level. At least we produced Emmanuel Tufo, we produced Nelson Boateng, we produced one or two more. A lot of them. But why was it so difficult to have another generation, apart from maybe Leo Miles Mills and Budia and Aziz Zakari? We didn't seem to be producing as much that would have been able to compete with the guys at the very top.
It is true. As compared to Frank Fredericks, we will talk of. I've met him several times, you know, when we go to games. In fact, the guy is a very disciplined athlete, because in track and field athletics, you have to make sure you are very disciplined, you're very honest, you have to stay away from drugs, and then listen to the coach, what the coach tells you, because your failure and success all depends on the two of you, both the coach and then the athletes. But then, come back to my own country. You see, the motivation, how to motivate an athlete, and then follow, the instruction of the coach, and then those who are in authority. Nowadays, we've got Sam Nelsons who, at times, they come to motivate us by giving us, the cocoa drinks, when you win, you get about 20 CDs, which 20 CDs at that time, which is now.
Well, maybe it was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money for us at that time. And that time, when you are first in any competition, you get this in 50 CDs. You get for the first position, 30 CDs for the second position, 20 CDs for the third position. So the motivational aspect was there, so that we were keeping, we are doing very good. But now these days, like Rex mentioned it, the corporate people are not coming. Those people who are athletic inclined, they don't come, to the aid
They
of
say
the
you're
athletes.
not doing enough to attract them.
Exactly.
Exactly, but because of we are lacking the competitions. Like, for example,
It's a
yesterday,
catch-22 situation.
Yes, for example, yesterday, look, we ran 3 times in a day. I wouldn't say a day, under 4 hours, we ran 3 times, and you see that they improve upon their time. So that if in case the competition is coming that way, and then the athletes are performing well, then the sponsors will come to say, yes, I'm not putting my money into any meaningful use. You see, so as compared to the previous year, the 70s and the 80s. Yes, the competitions were coming. As at now, we are not. Had it not been the fastest woman on the whole year, wouldn't have had any competition. So you could just see.
So sad.
Yes, that is why some of them they are very mad about why the competitions are not coming. And as we are going to Takoradi next week, some of them are even wanting to come and run there again. They want to follow us to.
They are highly
and run again
motivated.
just to have this more competition. So in fact, we are going to allow some of them, if in case they happen to come, we allow them to run because they want to have that competition to excel. Come next year Commonwealth Games. So as of now, without this one, we wouldn't have known the crop of athletes who we are going to prepare for the next Commonwealth Games.
Well, if you ask me, it's a sad situation, but at least the situation is not over and done with. Rex, at least wrestling is his team are trying to do something to get things going again. We'll do a round of commercials at this point. When we come back, we'll find out how far they've gone with the event since it was launched. And how far they're going with their Ghana's Fastest Man project. Rex,
Yes.
the event has been launched. You've been to Kumasi, you've been to Accra, you're going to be making your way to Takoradi very soon as well. What are the experiences that you've been able to garner from these 2 meets that you've held so far?
Well, let me rewind a little. In June, after we had come up with a plan to present to everyone, after we had come up with corporate Ghana support behind us, we figured it appropriate to announce first to the media. So the World Bank hosted us. We invited the media. We told them who we were, what we were going to do, where we were going to do it, when and why. We went to Takoradi. We were hosted by the Esipong, Omanhene, Nana Koblan Ketia. We did the same thing there. Went to Kumasi, the mayor, Kojo Bonsu, same thing there. I went to Cape Coast, did something similar there. The plan was to go to Tamale, but we were not able to do that. Then after all that, we had to do the official launch because we've done the media briefings all over. People now know about Ghana's Fastest Human. They know where to go and register. They know the time period when the registration was going to take place. They knew what to take with them to go and register. So now we needed someone to come and tell the whole world this was officially launched. And the Vice President, His Excellency Kwesi Bekwin, Misata came and sat with us, I think the first week of September, and officially launched it. So the next plans were, okay, now we've told the media what we're going to do. We've told sportsmen and women where to go register, what it was about. We had now had the official launch, And the next things were, okay, the actual race itself, what was going to happen. So we went to the registration period. 100 meters is a specialty race, so I was hoping to get about 100 people, maybe 120 registered, because it's a specialty race. Not everybody can run 100 meters. It's a tough race. At the end of August 31st, the registration period, we had 372 people that had registered. We were very happy with that. So we sat down, we had a technical team put in place, headed by Captain Sam and Coach Nukweza, and they devised a plan on the elimination series. We realized that, okay, we will bunch up Brong-Ahafo region and the Ashanti region in Kumasi. We will bunch up Eastern region, Greater Accra and Volta in Accra, Central region and Western region in Takoradi, and then Upper East, Upper West and Northern in Tamale. We told everyone at the official launch with the Vice President that Monday the 16th we will be in Kumasi to do the Kumasi leg. The 23rd we will be at Elwak to do that. The 28th will be at Esipong, and then October 5th we will do that. And true to our word, every date we have given, every time we've made a plan, we have come true to our word. On the 16th we did go to Kumasi, and from a 40-year-old lady who wanted to participate, blowing her knee up halfway through, to an 11-year-old girl whose dad insisted she run with the big boys. I mean, 11-year-old little girl, dad said, you're running with the big guys, you know, and she ran bravely, you know, came in sixth, but ran bravely, you know, in her heats, you know, to a 19-year-old girl who won the 100-meter race in 11.54 seconds.
Decent time.
To another 19-year-old gentleman, the gentleman that coach was talking about, who won the Interco, won the Interregionals, and now won the Ghana's fastest human Ashanti region time in a time of 10.21. Another 19-year-old kid, you know. Kumasi was exciting. It blew us off. We started Kumasi off on the right note.
Kumasi has always been a hotbed for
athletics. Always been. And I'm fine. So I asked, because I went to watch the Interregionals, why Ashanti region? Why Kumasi? And what I realized is the focus that they put on there, money they put in there. Focus being like Real Madrid, like Barcelona, they go and scout. So if they hear that Rex Broby is a great high jumper, but it's in the Volta region, or they hear that Rex Broby is a great distant runner, but it's in the northern region,
they go and get him.
They will go and get him or her. They will offer scholarships to him or her to one of the schools in the Ashanti region. Groom them, you know, and it's the same thing we're doing. You know, using corporate money to get the best, to groom them, and then, you know, so that's what has set Ashanti region apart, and that's why a 19-year-old boy and a 19-year-old girl have run 10.21 and 11.5. Let me give you another scenario. At the Greater Accra Trials, which was yesterday, these two 19-year-old boy and girl, these two guys, on their own accord, took a car from Kumasi all the way to Elwak to see their competition. 19-year-olds. Telling you the focus they have on athletics, on this race, by themselves. The two of them said they decided to come to Accra to watch the Accra, because, as we've all been saying, the two main sources that our athletes come from, the secondary school cycle and the security service cycle. They came out of the secondary school cycle, and Greater Accra has the security services cycle based here, and they felt that since this was a competition, they would come, and they came. And true to word, Greater Accra came yesterday, and as we said, the second part of the base of where our athletes come from, the security services, the winner from the male and the female are at Immigration Service, 10.31 and 11.91 seconds for the male and female. So the secondary school system, security service system, the two main sources where our athletes have always come from the Micah Hayes to the George Daniels to the Coras and so forth.
Coach, it's great that, you know, we're going all over and getting all these guys to compete in one way or form, but you handling the technical bits, they say not everybody can run, but not everyone can compete. we can all step out there and, you know, do maybe 100 meters, but I will do it in 10 point something. Someone will do it 20 point. You know, what do you look out for? What is it that you would see in an athlete that would convince you that, you know, this athlete can compete at a certain level, giving ABC training bets, and this athlete would go very far?
Thank you very much. You know, if that's why I give credit to the PE masters, because it's the PE masters in the various schools that tap the talent from these young ones. You know, athletic or sports is inborn, just like you are into media. The talent for these people that is also track and field athletics. So when we get them from the schools like this, then we build upon their their God-given talent up to a certain level. Yes, everybody can. When a snake comes here around, all of us will run away. They put all of us on the track. Definitely, the one who God has given that talent will excel more than the people who are for different other discipline. So yes, when we get them like this, then we get them a plan. You see, and it's also systematic. If in case you are 14 years old, the training schedule differs when you are
run us through a basic training program. Let's say you spot a talent who is X years old, and you want to get him to a certain level. What is a training regimen?
Yeah, there are so many factors. For example, if in case I want to follow, if I get you as a lame person like this, you've got have to train you. You've got something you call the motor qualities in a human being: speed, coordination, flexibility, endurance, and then strength. These are all the things that couple you to be a sportsman. So that in case you come, we have to undergo all these tests to see where you belong to. Yes, you will be running, but maybe your running will not be as much as maybe a 100 meters runner or an 800 meters runner. But when these tests are being done, then we put you on the correct category which you belong, or what God has given you. So from there, we do the normal training schedule for you to excel to the higher highs. So these are, the factors that we use to, train our athletes.
And as you've been going around Kumasi, you've been to the Greater Accra, you're preparing to go to Asipon as well. What struck you in Kumasi, and what struck you in Accra yesterday as well?
Kumasi, to be honest, I don't know why they become so exceptional. I have to be frank with you, because in nowadays, yes, the rivalry was there. Greater Accra Kumasi rivalry was there. I mean, Greater Accra Ashanti region rivalry was there in terms of track and field athletics. But now, those days it was off and on. This year, Greater Accra, the following year Ashanti. But now this time, Ashanti is dominating, track and field athletics, because the PE masters have, they are doing very well by training these athletes systematically. You see, there's a time, when they get them, they mess up with the training schedule. You could give a training schedule of a 25-year-old to a 14-year-old, which at the end of it, you reach the peak and then you fall. So that's why now, like Rex said rightly, some of our coaches are yet to be updated. So because when we select the final 50 for the house, we are going to work with the foreign coaches. The two of us will come together to find a schedule for these athletes, because they are now more or less an elite athletes where we have to lift up their training schedule. So in fact, the junior athletes, the training schedule for them should not be as how the senior athletes.
Rex, now talking about an elite program. Anytime you hear elite, you're looking at people of the highest order. You've had the chance to travel abroad, and you'd have seen these programs being implemented, and that's why they've been able to get the very best in various in various sporting disciplines. In here, like Coach is saying, I mean, with all due respect to our coaches who may be here, it may not be their own fault that they've not been able to get themselves upgraded to a certain point where they can also be able to spot out these talents and get them to that level. Are you worried that in as much as you'd want to put a fantastic idea like this together, getting the right people to do the right things in terms of getting the athletes to compete at a certain level might be a challenge?
No challenge at all. No challenge at all. And why I say no challenge at all is we are undertaking a task. And in undertaking the task, we are realizing that there are several aspects of this task that are challenging. We've accepted that. The onus is now on us to go to the drawing board to come up with different ways to, as I said, find a way around, over, under, through these different challenges that come up. Coaching is something that has, especially in athletics, if the athletes aren't there, and the athletes are leaving to go and play football because there's no avenue that they're seeing, obviously the coaching will also leave to follow other pastures, and no new ones will come in, and eventually it will dry up, and the few that remain will get stuck there with dinosaur type, apple, basically. Now, what we're trying to do using Ghana's Fastest Human, back to the focus, the attention. Ghana's Fastest Human is just one part of this whole.
At least you're starting from somewhere.
Starting from somewhere, bringing attention to it, as I like to say, making it sexy. Because when something is sexy, you talk about it, you fight over it, you throw money at it, you find ways to me, don't take him, take, type stuff. That's what we're trying to do with Ghana Athletics. Once we get that attention and that focus, and GFH is going, still finding the fastest human, we then go to these 3 areas I've talked about: nutrition, sports psychology, access to new and improved coaching and training methods. The national service, there's a time period where these students basically have nothing to do, and they go around looking for companies to attach to do their national service, because there's nothing really going on. One of the things we want to do using Ghana's Fastest Human is partner with schools in America to create sports therapy programs, certified sports therapy programs, certified sports psychology programs that anyone can delve in, which is lucrative, by the way, because we have found out that these things, is money. So once these avenues are created, once the certification is done, once the avenue is linked from the schools in America, and we then let the service personnel know that, hey, you can get involved in this, it raises coaching. You see, all this is long term, by the way. And we believe that this is not an overnight plaster type thing. We're starting with the first 7 years. We will go another 7 years. We may not be around, but the patent would have been set and tightened down for it to keep going 7 years, till we get to that pinnacle. It's a long road. We have to make it so sexy that now, instead of people wanting to go and do beauty or wanting to go and do hair,
at least they have a choice.
They have a choice.
They can do something else.
Which is lucrative.
Exactly. You may have all these, fantastic ideas, but again, someone would ask, running a project of this magnitude will come at a cost. At least I've been at your programs and I've seen you getting some kind of support, but I'm sure nothing is enough. I mean, you would still want more.
No. I mean, how do you see an elephant is a big animal, huge animal. How do you eat an elephant? One bit at a time. Class 1, class 2, class 3. We're in class 1. We have to understand we're in class 1. We have to understand the money that we need for class 1. We have to understand, that in class 1 there are these breaks and stuff we have to attain, while still keeping an eye on class 2 and 3. Once we master class 1, then we move that module to class 2. What happens most times is we jump too far ahead of ourselves and worry, well, what if? Well, we're not there yet. We haven't even. Some people haven't even heard about Ghana's Fastest Human. We want all Ghanaians to hear about this, because we want an avenue where we can say that everyone heard about this, and Rex Broby is the fastest man, or Margaret Simpson is the fastest woman, because everybody heard about it. If only a few hear about it, and if only a few take part, yes, you say you are the fastest in Ghana, but so the challenge is to make it lucrative enough to expand the net, to be able to, like I always say, the analogy of prospecting for gold. Because of the gold nuggets, you have to dig tons of dirt, plenty of dirt, to get a few nuggets. It's those nuggets that you send somewhere, they get polished, and they bind them, and we get our gold bars. And it's the incentive at the end, the gold bars, that drives us to go and do galamsey and kill ourselves and go and dig all that dirt. Same analogy with 100 meters. The end result, the gold, is what we've been able to get from corporate Ghana. Money, 40,000 big ones. 20,000 Ghana cedis to the fastest man, another 20,000 Ghana cedis to the fastest woman. We have other prizes from our sponsors. We have other scholarships. You know, we're working on to send some to go to America or Jamaica or Qatar using the Aspire program. You know, we have also a program to nurture some right here using our moringas and so forth and so forth, our Winnibus sports colleges and so forth, to research on the sports psychology. You know, because Jamaicans were discovered in Jamaica, they train in Jamaica, and they've done it so well that now everybody wants to go to Jamaica. So as much as we are pushing for some to go abroad, we're also going to push for some to stay and go to the local end. So it's a multifaceted, you know, approach, starting with this one bit, Ghana's fastest human.
We're starting from somewhere. We would get there. We'll do another round of commercials. We'll be back. We're in the final segment of the show. Rex is still here. Coach Nukpeza is still in here. Coach, I have been told that you've spotted some amazing talents who you think can go very far. Kindly tell us where we are with the selection process at the moment.
Yes, in fact, as the whole thing started, I seeded some of the national athletes because for the years they have done so well, so I didn't allow them to take part in this competition. Maybe they were scared, you know, the talents.
All get scared.
The talents coming. So, in fact, to be honest, I wouldn't like to stick my neck to who is going to win this competition, because for the past 2 weeks that we have been, you know, going around.
Favorite.
In fact, the final of the finals, which will come off in 26th of October, we have the likes of Apia Kubi, Shepherd Agbeko, Malik Ibrahim, Shadrack Edu Jemfi, Enoch Akoto.
And only one can win.
Only one can win.
Which is going to be very decent.
And some of these names he's mentioning, again, yes, some of them have been seeded. The current 100-meter champion is Emmanuel Apia Kubi. You know, he's in Ashanti region. He hasn't run yet, so we don't know, you know, how fast he can go. The current 200-meter record holder, Shepherd Agbeko, he hasn't run yet. He's also been seeded to the last 50. Same with the female. The current 100-meter champion, Beatrice Jama, has been pushed in there. We don't know what she's done. The current 200-meter record holder, champion, Janet Amponsa, has also been seeded, you know. And so these times that these guys are running in the Ashanti region and the Greater Accra region, from the schools and then from the services, are going to put their might against these national athletes.
Someone would say throw all of them in, let them compete against each other.
That's what's going to happen.
Who is the best?
And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. So,
that's
as Coach was saying, we've seeded about 10 of them, 5 male, 5 female, and then the rest, that we're going to pick 10 from Greater Accra, 10 from Ashanti region, 10 from Upper East and those guys, and then 10 from the West. That's 40 from each center, adding to the 10 that's already seeded. That's 50 people. We're going to put them in the Cowbell House. It's going to be called the Cowbell House from the 15th of October to the 25th. And then on the 26th, they'll be taken to Kumasi for the final. So, out of these names we've mentioned, it's anyone's race. You know, there's about 8 or 9 guys, big boys, you know, that are there that could win it. Current 100-meter record, champion, 200 champion, 2 or 3 other guys that are right there, including the current guy who is running 10-2-1, who is heated up. Same with the women. We have Janet Amponsa, who went to Russia for the World Championships, and the other ladies who are trying to show that, hey, I am the one that should have gone, and even though Janet was better than me, but I am now the one in form, you know. So there's about another 5 or 6 women trying to push Janet aside, in the final of finals. So all this will be recorded from the 15th to the 25th. There are training programs. We're working with the Yale Sports Center, Life University in America, coming together with a three-pronged approach on these three areas we've just talked about. Intense 2-week program for these guys. It will be filmed, it will be shown on TV live as they're going through it. So the nation will have a chance to pick who they think will win based on the profile that we will present and their training schedules. And so the 2-week period, that's where the reality part comes in.
Okay, so that we've done Kumasi, we've done Accra. You're going to be going to
next step is this Saturday. We're going to Takoradi. So the people from the central region and the western region are meeting us at Esipong Stadium in Takoradi. We're going to do our trials there, just like we did in Elwak. Then the following Saturday, which is October 5th, we're going to the north to do tamales. So by October 5th, we will have the 40 people already picked out to join the 10 that coach has seeded. And it is this 50 that is going into the Cowbell House to go through the intense training
for
the final of finals on the 26th. So that final of finals, everybody's going to be put together. The winners from Ashanti region, winners from the Greater Accra region, the national athletes, the winners from the western, the north, all 50 of them are going to be put in there, and they're going to run heats, semi-finals, and finals. On that day, the winner will be paid the money and crowned champion, and the games will start
I'm just wondering, being in the same location for about 10 days, and going through some kind of coaching and training alongside, and trying to develop, these guys. When you talk to them, coach, what is the feedback you get for those who may have qualified already and those who are, looking forward to making it into the house? What is the feel you get from them?
They all want to be in the house. They wish the competition is even right now for them to be chosen to the house. In fact, it's going to be very, very competitive. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't know who's going to win though. He said he's got his.
I have my favorite. I
wouldn't like to put my name because in fact the way these young ones are running, those people I've seen, they are almost all of them are the security services. But those people who retain the best times now, they are from the schools.
The schools.
So this is
and
where
they are competing.
They are competing. So that is where I'm saying it's very dicey. I don't know who is going to be up because for 100 meters is unpredictable.
Yes.
So till the day on the 26th, before we know
anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
It could even be a false start.
Yeah,
that could rule someone out.
It could be.
So this is what we are. So come 26th of October, we see who will carry the day to get a 200 million for
200 million.
Sponsors very, very important.
Yes, very important. Very important. Technomobile stood up and says, we would be the title sponsor and the clothing sponsor. So they've ordered some clothing coming from abroad, very nice clothing. Fidelity Bank said, we will be your bank sponsor. So going through registration, anytime anyone wants to give you money, come through us. Whirlpool is our appliance sponsor. MVP Hair Products, they're a beauty product sponsor. Chic Optique, all the glasses everybody talks about, you're always wearing funky glasses, they come from Chic Optique. Mukase at Georgia Hotel, she does great lunch.
Got a chain of sponsors.
I'm telling you,
I'm sure
UBI Petroleum, Multimedia Group, GTV, Metro TV, everyone else that loves sports. We have a whole bunch of these guys, saying, we love what you're doing, we are behind you, this is made in Ghana, this is made for Ghana, and we are Ghanaians, so it's made by Ghana. And
Rex,
we're all in this
finally,
together.
for every project that is undertaking, there is something they call legacy.
Yes.
There's something that you'd want to look back at it and say in some years' time that I was glad we did this. I was glad it all came together. I'm sure you're thinking along those lines as well.
I have thought about it over and over, and I am humbled. I am humbled that God will choose me to undertake something like this. He gave me two gifts: the gift of speed, 100 meters, and the Onua gift. And these two gifts have opened several doors for me till today. I'm humbled that of all the people he could have used, it was me that he's using to bring light, to bring entertainment, to make athletics sexy again, to yes, Gordon sexy, same, yeah. I've been told several times,
I understand.
but you know, but I'm humbled. I'm humbled that it is me that is using, and that's legacy. You know, my legacy is that, you know, God used a nobody, you know, to do his work, to bring the masses. And based on what he's been doing, he's been using the nobodies, the ones that don't make sense. I don't make sense, and I guess that's what's going on.
Coach,
I'm humbled.
you final words and then we check out?
In fact, this is a 7-year program. We are not targeting, you know, next year Commonwealth Games
No.
or I think it's 2016 Olympic Games. Our main focus is 2020 Japan Olympic Games, where definitely we are going to bring at least 2 Usain Bolts in Ghana.
And we pray it comes to pass. 2020 and Japan, at least they just got a call from the IOC. They are going to be hosting the Olympic Games, and hopefully we are all going to be alive to see the hard work that Rex and his team have done come into fruition. For you out there, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.